Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. You can see I'm surrounded by 38 parts and it's been a while, but we're back. We've got a number of parts here to go ahead and prime, bug, and let's kind of roll back and take a look at some of the stuff we've been working on over the last couple of weeks. Alrighty, we are somewhere in the mix of putting everything together, and I keep forgetting about the running board. So I've set everything else aside, all the parts behind me. And went ahead, put the front and rear fenders on the 38, measured up, mocked up where these running boards go. I've got some markings on the fenders where to drill in for the hardware, and I took these brackets, placed them on the vehicle. There's little legs that come out from the frame where these brackets should attach to, bolt through. The directions for these said to use something like panel bond, liquid nails, some construction adhesive. I didn't like that idea. I talked to the owner and he didn't like that idea either. The concern from the manufacturer of these was oil canning or deformation to the metal if you welded these on. And the owner said, and I said too, it's like, if we're in a temperate climate where everything is pretty much the same, no big deal. But we've got swings from 20 degrees below zero to 105 degrees plus minus humidity, and we felt that was just not a good solution to keep these things on the vehicle. So I'm going to actually weld them on. I opened up these channels a little bit, so we've got some hardware. We can freely slide it in here, weld them in place. I've taken some of our U-pole weld through primer, hit all the areas that are going to be covered up or welded to, so we can actually protect that as well. And of course, after we're done welding everything on, we'll come through, get everything primed. But for right now, I've gone ahead, like I said, I opened up all these channels, I got hardware, and everything is measured out. So what I'm going to do is grab my welder, tack these things in place, and weld them in. Probably do a quick test fit with one of them before I burn the entire bracket on here. But as a whole, that's our plan with these, and that's the last big thing to do on the vehicle. As you see, I've got plenty of parts behind me primed, except for the hood parts. Weather has been cool in the evening, so I haven't been able to lay down any primer, but next couple of days here I should have some time in the afternoons, get everything final in primer. Then we bring all the parts up to the house, do a final sanding on them all, hit it with another primer coat, sealer, base, clear. You know the drill, I've said it 100 times. So anyways, let me go ahead, grab the welder, and we will get these tacked in place, as long as I don't forget to put my hardware in first. Let me go find that. It would help if I grabbed the right size hardware. Of course, my voice is still sounding wonderful, thank you. Don't know why. Allergies, harvest season, too many rock concerts, I don't know. I also did go ahead and buy a new set of shims because these do need a little bit of shimming front to back to line up with the A, the fenders, and then B, the bottom of the cab as well. So we will be taking care to make sure that is all lined up. We've got our hardware. So I know it may be a little bit of a challenge to get the hardware started and tightened down, but I got a plan for that. Since we can't get a nut or bolt behind there, or wrench, I'm sorry, on that bolt head, we'll improvise. Not worried about that. Of course, all this would have been easier if I had a vehicle lift. Even a set of quick jacks would have been great, but I'm not that important yet. All right, everything is roughly where it should go. And I'm gonna go find the welder. Here, welder, welder, welder. Come here, welder. Here, welder. Come here. Found the welder. Now finally I've got some good metal to work with. No rust, no dingleberries, just nice clean metal. So hopefully this will be pretty painless. Okay, well I've at least got this tacked in. I'm not going to let you or make you watch the whole thing. Because we are dealing with a surface we want to keep flat, let's take a look. Yep. I don't want to be running beads along this because this is going to cause that top side we want to have pretty to warp and oil can. So right now it all feels good and smooth still. So I need to make sure it stays flat. So pretty much going to be stitch welding around all of these. It's going to take a while. So let me get her done and we'll have this ready for primer. Alrighty gang, it is, well, it's some time in the past. And I've got this last piece here is pretty well done. I've got to clean up the inside here of this fender and strip the outside. And we're ready to paint. Except for one small or a few thousand small problems. Let me show you. These magnificent creatures. It is that time of year where the beloved box elder bug comes and covers themselves over everything that we own. Look down here, it's just sort of like a big beetle party. What are you guys doing, huh? What are you doing? Yeah, that's inappropriate for young viewers. Anyways, these guys are everywhere down here in the shop. They're everywhere outside. They're everywhere in the garage, and the little suckers are even coming in the house. I don't know where. The whole house was re-sided, rewrapped, everything, and I don't know where the heck those suckers are coming in. Now, in the house, I don't care. I can take care of that. I'm not painting in the house. Down here, for priming, it's kind of a nuisance because I don't really want to have to go back and sand out bug trails. But most importantly, up in the garage where our paint area is, or our makeshift paint booth, I can't have these little beasties crawling around on fresh base and clear. So I need to figure out how to get rid of these guys. For the last week every morning when it's been about freezing or a little above, I take the leaf blower out, blow them all away from the house, the concrete apron by the thousands. I mean, there's literally piles of them I'm blowing around the driveway. And they keep coming back. So before I can do any paint, I have to get rid of them. And they just keep coming in, I don't know where. So I'm gonna finish cleaning off this fender here, get that ready for primer. A couple of parts, the back sides of the hood to prime down here, and then we're just gonna bide our time until we can get up in the garage and have a good environment to do our sprays in for our base and our clear. And I think, as long as my voice isn't holding out, that's gonna be a good thing. But what that's probably gonna mean is I'm gonna do a lot of small batches of paint. I don't really want to do it, but I don't want to mix up, 16 ounces, 24 ounces of paint and then get stuck with bugs everywhere. So I think I'm going to be bringing up little batches. I've got the running boards, the hood, some trim, fenders, and then lastly bring up the car itself for paint. Not really the order I wanted to do it in. If we get a good frost the next couple of days, I'll be able to go ahead and hopefully work up in the garage, get the car painted first is what I would like to do. and then work on the small parts and then attach them as they're painted. But like I said, I think we're going to be going in reverse, so I'm going to have a whole pile of parts down here ready to go on a car that's still in primer, which not really my favorite, but that's what we got. So we're going to go ahead and get this last fender stripped off and get some stuff in primer. So that brings us to a bunch of racks full of parts here. I've got some stuff here, some stuff over there, a lot of little parts to prime on the table over here, so I'm gonna kind of shuffle those in and out. My goal is to get these parts primed and painted, put away, and we've got 2 more rounds. We've got all 4 of the fenders to come up, and then of course the car itself. So as long as my voice holds out, which I'm sure it won't, we will just keep rolling through this. I've already got everything prepped and cleaned, and I'm gonna go ahead and mix up some of our primer and wet down our floor and shoot some paint or shoot some primer. So that's kind of a plan for today. Alrighty, we are all ready to go. My voice is not good, but we've got a new toy, a little better, a little different field of perspective, doing the work. So we're gonna go ahead, just mask up and start priming. Alrighty, we've got to let this sit and flash for a good another 10 minutes. We'll put a couple more coats on and get those last couple of parts over here you can't see. The taillight covers and the headlight brackets. So we'll get this priming finished up and come back. Alrighty gang, we've got 2 coats of our epoxy primer down. One of our hood panels had a few pops, I don't know why. Mid batch of primer, I don't know. So I'll sand that out. Everything gets sanding anyways. And of course, hit it with sealer before we go ahead and put our paint on, so not worried there. Overall, everything looks pretty good. Didn't really have any oil canning issues from when I put those brackets on the running boards. Actually off camera, I have actually flipped these over already and did our undercoating, rubberized undercoating. So that's all taken care of underneath. It looks pretty good. I'll probably do a light blocking in that area just to make sure there's nothing the eyes are deceiving me with. And either way, it's either going to get base and clear and look good, or we're going to end up putting a non-skid mat on it like what was originally from the factory. So for right now, I got a whole garage full of parts that are drying, and we are going to pack up the family and head out to my parents for my son's birthday party a little bit early, but we're going to go celebrate that and get this stuff a chance to cure overnight. And with any luck, I can come back tomorrow, seal it, and start putting on base and clear. I may break this up into a few smaller batches. You see I went back a couple of times to mix up primer. I'm working in the garage. I got the family inside, so if I've got to stop, I don't want to have 32 ounces of primer or even 16 ounces sitting in the event I have to stop for something. So little batches, less waste, a little more time to mix, but hey, not wasting product, and if I have to stop and go be a dad, I can. Anyways, let the stuff cure, and we'll come back and hopefully start getting our base and clear down.
Tomorrow for sure.
Alrighty, it is a new day. We're back from my son's birthday, a little event at my parents' house last night, and that got cut a little bit short, but well, I'm still dealing with bugs. Now, it's later in the evening on Sunday now for me, but we came home this afternoon. Let me show you a picture here. This is down at the shop. Just a small snippet of all the box elder bugs, thousands, that are trying to make their way into the warm house and warm shop. So when I say I have a bug problem and it's really challenging to try and paint everything, even in a sealed garage, it's tough. So what we're doing small batches. I've got a number of these little pieces already wet sanded and cleaned and tacked, wax and grease remover, yada, yada, yada. And I just mixed up 4 ounces of our sealer, and I want to hit these parts. If I've got something left over, I've got a couple of other parts back here I can hit and get sealed up. But I want to start off small and get the sealer, the base, and the clear on these 4, 8, 10 little pieces here tonight, and that's gonna call it good. That's my goal. We'll see how it turns out. Sealer's already mixed up. The floor is wet. I'm gonna mask up and just get going. Alrighty, well I've got my sealer on there, my gun is cleared out, and this has to sit about 15 minutes before we can start laying down our base coat. So it gives me about 10 minutes left. Go ahead and start mixing up some of the base coat. I'm kind of excited to see how this goes down. Again, the spray out we did looked pretty good, but again, that's only on a little card, so you don't really, see how it is in the big picture. So everything here looks good. Did not get any runs, so that is awesome. And actually, priming it, I only had one little run, one of these big headlight cans, just a little tiny wave right down on the underside of it where you wouldn't really anyway see it. Anyway, that's what I mean. My brain is clearly not functioning. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and let this again sit for about 15 minutes. That again gives us the ability to hit it with the base coat and have it bite into that sealer. If we were to go ahead and let this sit overnight.
Few inches later.
If we were to let this sit overnight, we would have to come back and just scuff all the parts with sandpaper, light scuffing, 600, whatever, and then reshoot it and be good to go. But we're gonna try and hit it all with the bite, that chemical adhesion, and keep moving. All right, guys, we're just gonna bust into the base and the clear. So I'm gonna lay 3 coats of base, then some clear, let everything sit. I'm just gonna keep going round robin here. I'm not gonna show you all the coats, everything, because, well, you don't wanna see it. So you'll see a little bit, then I'll come back. Alrighty, well, you saw that first coat go on GoPro style, and I'm gonna let this thing sit about 15 minutes per coat to flash off the last coat a little bit longer, a little bit of drop coat, just since we are doing some metallics in here. Not a ton, but there is just enough. So again, let this thing sit. I'll come back when it's time to shoot some clear. Alrighty, we've got our base coat down. It looks pretty good. There is a minimal to no trash in there. It's awesome. I don't have any runs. I don't have any bugs in there yet. So to me, this is going pretty good. I've got the clear coat mixed up, so I'm just gonna go ahead and start dropping that down. Starting with a kind of a light tack coat, then a second kind of medium coat, and if need be, I'll put on a third wet coat, just depending on how that second coat comes. I'm gonna kind of vent out just for a second here because we've got stuff hanging in the air. So give me a minute to get that vented out, and we'll start dropping some clear. Well, that was pretty fun. We've got a big hazy mess here, but we've got 3 coats of clear on everything except the underside of our center hood section. Never gonna see it anyway, so okay. Looking at it, yeah, let me grab you real quick. Get rid of these gloves. Everything here is still pretty damp, but I imagine things are gonna flow out just a little more, but everything is looking I mean, really no orange peel, no dry spots, no runs, that's the important part. Everything else over here looks pretty good. There's a few pieces of trash that popped up in here. This is the little air intake scoop, so I can wet sand those out. Headlight brackets turned out well. Our other taillight brackets and license plate light down here turned out pretty darn good. Anyways, we're just gonna let this stuff sit right here because it is well past bedtime, and this is not the Motel 6. The light has not been left on for me. So I'm gonna disrobe from these stinky clothes out here, go in, clean up, and call it a night. And I'm gonna call this video a wrap as well. So when we come back in the next section here, we're gonna take a look at these parts. We're gonna be getting more of these things primed up. We've got another half dozen parts in here left to prime or seal, base and clear. We've got our 4 fenders, and we got our car itself. And then, of course, reassembly. So figuring out where all the parts go. Do I have all the parts? Do I still have to do the electrical? We'll see. Anyways, thanks for watching this one. Sorry it's been so long to get a video out, but sometimes, like I say, life just gets in the way of having fun. And today, we're having stinky fun. So, till next time, we'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.